Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Is it? I'm done. Through. It's over. I'm gone. Finished. Over. I will never work for you again. Look at you. You think you're an important man? Is that what you think? You are a laughingstock. You are a joke. These people are laughing at you. You're nothing. You have no brains, no ability, nothing. I quit. What should I do?
Maybe you can just go back.
Go back?
Yeah. Pretend like it never happened.
You mean just walk into the staff meeting on Monday morning like it never happened?
Sure. You're an emotional person. People don't take you seriously.
Just go back. Pretend the whole thing never happened.
Never happened.
I was blowing off a little steam. So what?
So what? You're entitled.
I'm emotional.
That's right. You're emotional.
Never happened.
Never happened.
How you doing?
What are you doing here?
What? I work here.
I thought you quit.
What? Quit? Who quit?
Bill, how was your weekend?
Oh, excellent weekend. What about your weekend?
Fine weekend.
Yeah, good weekend.
Is that Costanza over there?
What are you doing here?
What?
Am I crazy? Or didn't you quit?
What? Oh, what? That? Are you kidding? I didn't quit. Why? You took that seriously.
You mean laughing stock, all that stuff?
Come on, will you stop it?
No brains, no ability?
Teasing. What?
Okay. I want you out of here.
I don't know where you're getting this from. You're serious, aren't you? Oh, you see, you don't know my sense of humor. I mean, Dan, don't I joke around all the time?
I wouldn't say all the time.
Oh man, how about that? Had to start the show with that, Johnny. We're going to talk San Diego State today, and credit to Doug Gottlieb. I saw him post that to Twitter. So I'm sure we broke plenty of copyright laws there playing that, but had to start the show with that, Johnny. There seems like there's a Seinfeld episode for everything, but that one just hit too close to home there with what's going on with San Diego State. That was great.
It was. Whoever put that together, I just love how the logos are there. When he walks into the boardroom, there's Utah State, there's Hawaii, there's Fresno over there, there's Boise State at the end of the table, kind of the other head of the table. Well-to-do to put Boise State there as kind of the leader in the conference. They get more money than everybody else. It just all seemed to kind of fit in there. That's pretty funny, man.
I like to go, good weekend. Oh, that was great. Oh, man. I do.
State, man. San Diego State.
I love that, and I love being back on with you, Johnny. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We've been off and on due to holidays and vacations and things, but we should be back pretty much every weekday now from here on out, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We got shows today, Thursday, and Friday, all 5 days next week. Next Friday, we'll get to number 1 on our countdown. And then, Johnny, it will be off to Mountain West Media Days, less than 2 weeks. Crazy to believe 2 weeks from right now, we'll be doing this show at the Circa Resort and Casino. Johnny, 2 weeks away, man. It felt like a long time ago, but now it's going to be here before we know it.
And my gosh, man, with this news, like, talk about the ultimate storyline at Media Days, BJ. You've been covering the Mountain West for a decade, as have I. I don't remember going into a media day with a bigger story than this. And you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong, if there's been one, but everybody is going to be talking about San Diego State and this exit or non-exit in Gloria Navarez, her first football season ever as a commissioner. Remember, the WCC doesn't play football. And for her to kind of, for her to make this move at this time, I mean, when she's going to be there, she's going to have to answer these questions to all of us. Holy smokes, man, that's going to be a lot of eyeballs, not just Mountain West eyeballs. I've always said about the Mountain West, one of the things that frustrates me with it is it just doesn't have any national visibility. Outside of these schools in this region, nobody really cares about the Mountain West, right, BJ? Even San Diego State's run to the national championship, that's the most attention it's gotten in a long time. I think this might creep over and get some attention. People might be thinking, well, what is San Diego State going to do? Well, what is the Mountain West going to do? Is this for real? Is this a real breakup? They're going to charge them to come back in? They withheld their $6.8 million bucks. The San Diego State's like, dude, we want our revenue money. Nah, dude, we're not giving you your money because you sent us a letter saying you were leaving. Sorry, bro. That money is ours because you need to pay it as part of your exit fee. Like, dude, I'm sorry, man, but I love this.
We're going to talk Latrell Caples a little bit later in the show as well as we continue our breakdown of the 25 most important players. We're down to number 9 on our list. The next 2 weeks, we'll finish that up with number 1 next Friday. You can probably take a guess of who that's going to be, but Latrell Caples, we'll talk about that. But yeah, there was some new developments with the San Diego State drama, saga, mess, whatever you want to call it. Mark Ziegler reporting on Wednesday night, and we will talk about that and break it down here in just a second. But do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Highly recommend the Mai Tai. All the drinks on there, but the Mai Tai and the Pina Colada are my 2 favorite right now. Roepaint.com. Check them out, roepaint.com. The one-day install, the concrete coatings, they can schedule you to come out for free and give you a look at your patio, your garage, wherever you want to do it, give you a price quote, talk you through the process, but it's done in 1 day, and it's 5 times stronger than epoxy. I highly recommend the concrete coatings from roepaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise. Rain's family's happy with our F-150 that we purchased from Lithia Ford of Boise. You can do the same, lithiafordboise.com. It's anniversary sales season. That means some great deals going on. View the full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. And our third major sponsor here at BNN, Idaho Central Credit Union. They'll be bringing you episode 3 on Tuesday night of the Tyson Degenhart Show. We have a big-time guest we're working to confirm before we announce that, but may break the internet with this one, Johnny. ICCU.com. Get more information and find a branch on pretty much every corner. You can find one near you, ICCU.com. And again, thank you to our friends at Idaho Central Credit Union. Okay, the article from Mark Ziegler. Basically, Johnny, you and I and Prater on Friday's show, this had just broke right before I did my weekly BNN segment with you guys on Idaho Sports Talk on last Friday. And we kind of said we hoped this is what would happen. We hoped the Mountain West would play hardball. San Diego State officially sent the letter saying, yep, we never said we were leaving, but we're just confirming that we're not leaving and we're happy to stay. And we were hoping that the Mountain West would play hardball as they have to this point. And that's exactly what it appears has happened. Mark Ziegler's article, you can go read it on his Twitter account, on the website. There's a lot going on in the article, but the Mountain West sent a letter back over the weekend to San Diego State, essentially saying, Johnny, no, you already told us you were leaving, and by the way, we'll take that $17 million when you get a chance. So I think we all agree. Probably 2 things I'll say, Johnny, before I hand it over to you. We all still think San Diego State is leaving. I think in the net, and maybe in a short time. I don't think anybody believes San Diego State is now just never going to leave. I think this is just delaying it. And I think that, we also don't believe that the exit fee of $17 million is going to be $17 million. It'll get negotiated down with lawyers and all this, and cooler heads will probably prevail when this is all said and done. But for the time being, for San Diego State to leave but have nowhere to go and now try to come back, and the Mountain West like, nah, no thanks, we'll take your money and see ya. I think it's great drama, man. It's at least for the short term here, it's great stuff.
I think it has a lot to do. Is it 6.6 or 6.8? I read the Ziegler article too. I can't remember
like that, yeah.
Exactly what this was record money dispersed to the Mountain West teams. They've never received this much money in TV revenue and whatnot. And this is before the units kick in for the San Diego State national championship run. So it's not too shabby being in the Mountain West lately. All of a sudden, the revenue's kicking up a little bit. That, to me, is where this thing stems from. Yeah, San Diego State's leaving. They just don't have an invite yet. They know eventually it is going to come. I think George Kliavkoff has given them kind of a handshake type of deal. Like, look, once I get my George Kliavkoff, commissioner of the Pac-12, he needs to take care of his current members before he can go and formally invite San Diego State, right, BJ? I mean, he's got to make sure that they're going to want to stay. Right now, he's got his own members who are thinking about bailing on him and dissolving my favorite conference, probably, maybe even forever, if the Pac-12 can't recover from that. So they got to worry about San Diego State in due time. So for me, San Diego State says, okay, no, we're staying. All is cool, because they want that money, in my opinion. They want to deal. Well, you say, well, they have to pay San Diego. They have to pay the Mountain West exit fee anyway. Okay, well, we'll handle that money when we get it, but we want our 6.8. We want our 6.6. We want our $6 million for this. They have bills that they need to pay. That money, in a lot of cases, probably already been spent, BJ. They need that $6 million coming in revenue to pay off some things that they have to pay off. So they want to deal with their exit fee in due time. I think that's part of it here. And the Mountain West is like, no, we're going to keep that $6 million. And, Jeremiah Dickey even said on Idaho Sports Talk, you probably talked to him too, that money does get dispersed back to the current members. Yep. So Boise State and all the other members of the Mountain West, they will see some of that San Diego State money. The Mountain West just doesn't keep it all and just let it grow interest. They pay it back. So, good for the Mountain West teams getting that. But ultimately, you hate to lose San Diego State. I know this is kind of fun. We're having fun paying attention to it. It's a bummer that they're ultimately leaving, but it is kind of cool for once, because you never see this in college football or college athletics. When a team wants to leave a league, it's almost like the league opens up, rolls out the red carpet for them. Okay, you want to leave a little earlier, let's negotiate. It's all good. I've never seen, correct me if I'm wrong, a commissioner like Gloria Navarro say, no, you're leaving. We're withholding your money. We're not sending it to you. Take us to court if you want, fine, whatever. But no, screw you guys. And it's kind of interesting to see in a world that we never seem to see that.
Nate Staley says, oh boy, San Diego State, shake my head. This is why good leadership is so important. Nathaniel Wilder, San Diego State needs to pay the toll. Rudy says, at this point, Pac-12's bigger concern is keeping Colorado and Arizona rather than adding San Diego State and SMU.
He's right.
Return to the
Pac-12 has bigger fish to fry right now than worrying about offering San Diego State. It's like San Diego State's calling again. Pac-12, let's just let that go to voicemail, right? It's kind of like when your buddy John gives you a call sometimes, BJ. I'm like, I'm going to call him back, but right now, that's going to voicemail.
And Gloria, we trust. Do you think Craig Thompson would have handled it this way?
No. Craig Thompson would have let him back in. There would be no money. It would be, okay, no worries. We got it. Craig Thompson probably would have taken the initial letter for what San Diego State wanted the initial letter to be. Hey, we're thinking about leaving, but if we do decide to leave, hey, can we get an extension on the deadline, and B, we've been fun. We've been good to you. Can we give you a little less money than we owe you? Craig Thompson might have been like, okay, yeah, you have been good to us. Thanks a lot. Here's a parting gift on the way out. Gloria Navarez, she's not playing that game. She's playing hardball. And again, Mountain West Media Days, all these fans of BNN, all these fans of all these other Mountain West programs. I don't know if there's ever going to be a commissioner state of the conference address that has more viewership than Gloria Nevarez come Las Vegas. I remember
they're kind of dumb and boring and we have to go, but you don't really get much out of it. I mean, that room is going to be jam-packed. It's the very first
Craig
thing
Thompson's
on the first
media
day.
address is like, it's like a snooze fest. And we love Craig Thompson, but he just goes there and tells us how awesome the league is for 10 minutes. Okay, Gloria is going to get up there and everybody down there is going to be in that ballroom when Gloria Nevarez addresses
our show back an hour on Tuesday so we can hear that for sure.
Yeah, you got to. Can you guys hear that live on BNN?
We probably could figure out a way to get a camera.
You should talk to the guys of the Mountain West about that because BJ, that I think your listeners, your subscribers, they deserve that.
Air Thompson would have just paid San Diego State to him. Hardball's a movie. Sam says
Rudy, Hardball is a bad baseball movie to Greg Thompson.
The first letter San Diego State drafted was exactly how you don't draft that kind of thing if you want to leave some wiggle room for negotiation. Yeah, they sent a formal notice. It even said in their letter, this is a formal notice that we're thinking of leaving. Like,
it was the worst attempt at a breakup that, I mean, even me or you have, we've had some dumb breakups in our day. Probably that's even worse than either something I could concoct in my horrible career.
Hey, we look good. That's all that matters, according to our friend Selva here. Don't care for any of that. Just want to let you boys know you look hella good. Don't forget that. Johnny, you do look pretty good, man. Like the beard there, the hair, you shaved it.
Yeah.
We got
a photo shoot.
I was gonna say we can't talk too much about that, but we got some big things coming. It'll be coming out soon. But what do you think happens ultimately, Johnny? Because we spin this forward. As I said, I love that the Mountain West is playing hardball right now. I don't ultimately think they're going to stay and play hardball here forever. I don't think that they're going to require the $17 million. And by the way, you mentioned the 6.6, 6.8. That just comes out of the 17. They're like, we're not going to pay you that. We're not going to pay you this. And then you turn around and pay us $17 million. We're just going to keep this money, and now you owe us 11.
And that's why I think San Diego State wants their 6 first, so then they don't have to pay money when the Mountain West calls. They can say, well, we're going to talk about this. No, Mountain West is saying, we're not going to talk about this.
Easier for
now
the Mountain
you owe
West
us 11. I love it.
Easier for the Mountain West to keep the money if they already have it.
Yes. So I think that's the biggest thing. San Diego State tried to tippy-toe back in the league because they want their revenue check. And because they've indicated that on multiple letters, BJ, we still expect our revenue check. Everything's
from last year. That's last year's revenue. So you have a budget that you've got to hit where you were projecting all that money from last year.
You got to pay the toll. Yes, you got people you owe. I love it, man. So you're right. This is not going to end in some dramatic fashion.
And they make them pay the 17, and then if you want back in, you're also going to have to pay another 17 for an entrance fee to come back. I mean, they're not going to. They can say that all they want, but I think lawyers will ultimately negotiate this down. But what does it do just for the next year or two until San Diego State does leave? There's going to be a little bit of tension.
I think they'll have that option, though, BJ. I think that'll come. I think San Diego State, this will be their last full year in the Mountain West. This time next year, they'll have a Pac-12 patch on their jersey, and good for them. And the Mountain West can move on too. And I think ultimately that's how this thing will end. But it's in the middle of this story here. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of comical, and it's certainly entertaining.
Yeah. And by the way, the basketball money gets withheld from them too. And I don't know. I don't think that's part of the exit fee. They just don't get that because they didn't make they're not part of the conference. So
the biggest stream of revenue that athletic department has ever
in their letter. That was in their letter. They said, we made the Mountain West $10 million. You guys should be helping us out here and count that towards part of the fee. And the Mountain West is like, no, it doesn't count towards the fee. And so that was $2 million a unit. They got to the championship game. So that's another like $750,000, $800,000 or whatever it is that they'd be losing out on themselves. And then that money would get put back in the pot, and Boise State would get another $100,000 or whatever out of it, because
San Diego State will still have Pac-12 revenue coming, whatever that is. And we expect that it's going to be over $20 million a year.
But they're not getting any this year. If they have to stay in the
they'll
Mountain West,
they'll have to say, hey, can I pay you back in a couple of years? By the way, we need more credit. Yeah, it'll be a situation. Yeah.
2 straight years that they would go no TV money because they'll lose the $6 million this year, and I'm sure the Mountain West would say, "We'll just keep your $6 million for next year."
Yeah.
The official amount, according Dylan Cooper always comes through 6.6 million. It's $6,602,000.
Don't forget the 48 cents there, Dylan.
$3.40. Where you come up with this? 48 cents.
That's what the league owes San Diego State. That's what the league has withheld from San Diego State. Yeah, they want their 6.6, and they're not getting it.
Sam says it would be really funny if the Pac-12 media deal comes in way lower and way worse than it should be. They're clearly struggling in the negotiations right now.
That's not good. If that happens, then teams are leaving.
Nathaniel says, how hilarious would it be if San Diego State has to go independent? Any chance? Is there any chance they don't go to the Pac-12? Is there any chance that they don't go to the Pac-12? Are they? You still think in 2 years they're in the Pac-12? You feel pretty good?
Here's this scenario. The Pac-12, it's the worst case scenario. The Pac-12 dissolves. Oregon and Washington end up going to the Big Ten. The four corner schools are now in the Big 12. That leaves Wazoo, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford. And they come up with, Petros Papadakis called it like the Super West Conference or something, like some fabricated Mountain West with those four lonely Pac-12 schools, and they come up with a Pacific West or whatever conference.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that and say like the Mountain West is in charge of it, and they don't let San Diego State even in that league, or they charge them to be in that league because they are an independent at that point, you got to pay to get in this league. This is a new league. I guess they could do that, worst case scenario, but ultimately independent, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to come to that, but that would be funny. And would Boise State want to schedule them? Like, they're going to call all these Mountain West teams like, dude, we need games. We want games in this time zone. I wonder what the Mountain West is going to be like. I don't know, man. Yeah, you got to come to us. We're not going down there, yo. We're not coming down there. You got to come here. I don't know. With Gloria Navarez, maybe anything's possible. Maybe. No, I don't know. I don't think she would have any say in that, but
I'll finish this part of the discussion by saying, like I said, I don't expect it to last, but kudos to Gloria Navarez for how she's handled this. I think
you like it, huh? You like the hard ball.
Why not? Yes. I mean, you don't want to be here. Fine. See you. And like I said, it's not actually going to happen. The leverage that the Mountain West does have is you can either try to raise the buyout fee from 17 to whatever else. We'll let you back in, but the fee now is this, or you try to get like a long-term commitment. We'll let you back in, and we won't charge you a penny, but you got to sign to 5 years, or the fee goes up. I mean, I think the Mountain West is going to try to spin this in their favor somehow, because as you said, they need the Mountain West. Of course they need they need San Diego State. Of course they do. It's worse for the conference if San Diego State is not in it. So ultimately they will take them back. San Diego State's not going independent. They will get back in the Mountain West somehow, but I think the Mountain West has all the leverage here to say, you want back in? Okay, well then, because the Mountain West may need, or San Diego State may need the Mountain West as well.
Yeah, so they go to the Big West for all their other sports. Could you imagine that? San Diego State playing like, Irvine, CSUN, Riverside, and hoops. Do you think San Diego State basketball wants to go to a one-bid league with no television contract, and then they can play football as an independent? It's funny just seeing all this come together, but you're right. None of this is going to happen. San Diego State is needed, but it could be something that the Mountain West can use to say, okay, we will take you back, but we don't believe you. We think you just want to come back until the Pac-12 does call, and then you write us a formal letter of your actual leaving, right? Of your designation that you actually do want to leave this time. So we're going to say, no, we're not going to take that. If we're going to take you back, we need a 3-year commitment. We need a 5-year commitment, and we're raising the exit fee big time. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, we will find out again 2 weeks from yesterday. Gloria Navarez will be addressing the media at Media Days. Looking forward to that. Rudy's asking where his wedge is. Rudy, I've been out of town for like 2.5 weeks. I just got back, and they do have a left-handed wedge, and I'll be trading it, and I'll contact you off air in the next couple of days, and we will find a way to meet up.
Rudy, don't ask that stuff during the show, and BJ, don't answer that stuff during the show. We're talking here. Bob Beeler's shaking his head over there. What the heck?
We're talking Media Days. We're talking Circa Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino, Circa Sports, our sponsor. Here's a message from the owner, Derek Stevens.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back and bigger than ever, with $14 million in guaranteed prizes, only at Circa Sports. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. 2 ways to win and no rate. Play Circa Million, where you make 5 picks against the spread each week with 100% payback. or join Circus Survivor, where you select one team each week straight up. Last the longest to win it all. 14 million in guaranteed prizes. Visit circusports.com for details.
Looking forward to being down there in 2 weeks. Also looking forward to getting over to Lean Feast today. Been out of town for about 2 weeks. Looking forward to getting back on track with Lean Feast here. leanfeast.com/Meridian. Check them out. The best in healthy meal prep service. You can do it all online and have it delivered, or go in and check them out. Ustick Road and Eagle Road right here in Meridian. leanfeast.com/Meridian. And if you need some new Boise State gear, the blueandorangestore.com. Check them out. The blueandorangestore.com offers free shipping for any order over $40. You can also go in to the Boise Town Square Mall there on the second floor and get all their flash deals and cool stuff in person. Again, the Blue and Orange Store. And if you need a job, Transportation Compliance Service can help you out. Transcomservice.com. Every step of the way, the trucking industry, all the permits, forms, things you need, let them take care of it for you. Folks that over 75% of folks that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. Let the professionals handle it. Transportation Compliance Service. More information at transcomservice.com. Okay, John, you got about 5 minutes left here. We're on number 9, Latrell Caples, as we count down the 25 most important players. And again, we're talking most important, not best. And so we do kind of have a log jam. There's some talented receivers, some talented safeties. A guy like Cade Beresford might show up higher on the list here as we go, because maybe there's less of a chance at, less guys backing him up if he were to get hurt and not play well. You feel pretty good about receiver. They got 3, 4, 5 guys, but you look at Latrell Caples and what he did last year. Led the Broncos 51 catches. That was almost 20 more than the next person, Billy Bowens. He led them in yards by almost 100. Tied for the team lead in touchdowns. I'm just going to be honest, Johnny. We do have Steph Cobbs coming up later this week. I struggled with those two in the order of them, but I make Steph Cobbs a little more important because I think he needs to be better this year. He needs to stay healthy. He needs to be better, and what he brings in the return game, could be key as well. But Latrell Caples, he burst onto the scene last year, had a huge year, and I think if you're a Boise State fan, you got to be extremely excited about what Latrell Caples brings to the table this year.
I like Latrell, but I don't love him. I think he does a lot of things well, but I'm not sure he does one thing great. I think he's one of those. Now, the 51 catches, 549 yards, 4 touchdowns, love that year, but that needs to be wide receiver 2 numbers this year. I don't think those can be wide receiver 1 numbers again, unless there's 5 guys who have over 30 catches and it truly is one of those type of rotations, and maybe it will be. But I like the old Boise State days where they have that one guy and you pass the baton down, where you have that A1 all-conference NFL caliber wide receiver. And we all know the names. I go back to like Jay Swilly, and I end it with Khalil Shakir. And every one of those years, BJ, there was that one guy. Last year, they didn't have that. If they did, it was Latrell Caples. You're right. He was their best receiver last year. Those numbers for me, need to increase, though, and we'll see if Latrell can get better on this. We've been told for the last several years that Steph Cobbs was the next guy on the evolution chart next to Khalil Shakir when it came to the Boise State receiver position. We've been told that Static was kind of the best guy.
Yep.
And last year, Latrell was better. Give him a lot of credit. Maybe that's just how it is. I don't know if I would have a receiver this high on your list. I don't know. I just look at that position. There's just so many moving parts. I don't know how it's going to situate. You know me, I'm a Prince Strawn fan. I know he's not on your top 25 list, but I think if there's a top 25 list of guys who didn't make your top 25 list, I think Prince Strawn can be up there. I think there's a lot of moving parts in the receiver room. As I said, we'll see where Latrell fits in, but they at least need him to have kind of the year he had last season. Sure.
As Chris points this out, this was accurate. Latrell Caples was in a boot, and he was using a scooter at that charity softball game a couple weeks ago. So hopefully he'll be ready for fall camp. We don't have any kind of update on that. But yeah, he was not playing in the softball game and did have a boot on his foot. Latrell was a solid asset with his roles in the receiver and return game. And again, I kind of struggle when we got to this part of the list, because I think everybody can tell that we haven't talked about Taylon Green yet, haven't talked about Ashton Genty or George Halani yet.
DJ Schramm.
But you get to some of these receivers, and again, like nothing against Latrell Caples or Steph Cobbs, but if one of those were to go down, like you said, you mentioned Prince Strawn, you've got Billy Bowens, you've got some other guys that you feel pretty good about at that position. Even at safety, you've got some guys. So I do think, and again, Steph Cobbs, I have him slightly ahead. I'll be talking about him tomorrow, just as a team with Mike Prater. I have him slightly ahead because of what you said. Like, we've heard so much about him. Like, he needs to be that guy this year. Like, he needs to have that season. So I still think, even though the production last year for Caples was better, I think Cobbs is slightly more important than Caples, just because he needs to have that year that we've been waiting for him to have. But yes, I think, and I also think, like, for Taylon Green, there's a lot of hype and talk around Taylon Green, but like, he needs some receivers to help him out. Like, he's not the most polished passer of all time. Like, he's going to need some guys to make some plays and go get some 50-50 balls and make some catches for him. And I think Latrell Caples is a guy that, as you said, as a minimum, I mean, I think you would take that right now, Johnny. I would take it if I were a Boise State.
For Latrell, I would too, man. I'd take that year again, but I would do that with the hopes that it's not wide receiver 1 numbers. But
yes. You want 51, 550, and 4. You would take that from Latrell Caples in a heartbeat, but you want Steph Cobbs, Billy Bowens, Eric McAllister. We haven't talked about all these guys. You mentioned Prince Strawn. Like, those guys need to have numbers that improve. But I thought that Latrell had a really nice season last year. I won the milkshake bet with Mike Prater. I was on Latrell. He was on Billy Bowens. I think it could be some interesting, we talked about one of the questions back in May, who leads this team in catches? I mean, who do you think it is right now, Johnny?
I'd go with Static.
Okay.
I'd go with Static. I'm with you. I think he's the better player. This is a very important year, though. Static hasn't had that he hasn't popped yet. And it's like, hey, Static, it's year 6. When you going to pop, man? And let's hope it's this year. But again, there's just so many options in that receiver room. We don't know. And there's a new OC. Bush might like somebody more than Plow or Dirk did, right? Obviously, Plow wasn't a huge McAllister guy. Dirk was. What was Strawn going to be into McAllister more than kind of the old guard, which is Latrell, Static, and Bowens, right? And then you have the new 3. That's McAllister, Strawn, and Whiting, and throw in the Colorado transfer. Who the hell knows what's going on in that room, right, BJ? It's weird.
You got Austin Bolton there somewhere too. If he's able to come back healthy, who knows? I don't want to throw him away. I would like to see Austin Bolton.
He's still
on the teams. We haven't heard anything about him.
This is his 4th year in the program, and he hasn't had a catch yet, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? The guy's battled injuries and has had a tough go.
By the way, Latrell Caples was 2nd team preseason from Athlon, all Mountain West at wide receiver, and was 3rd team at punt returner. So 2nd team all Mountain West wide receiver. If that ends up happening for Latrell Caples, that means he had a pretty good season, and this offense probably had a pretty good season. So, Johnny, appreciate your time as always. You and Prater back from the 4th of July break today, 3 to 6. You guys and Bob will be on the air today, 3 to 6, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. Last time I asked you what you had coming up on the show, I put you on the spot, so maybe I shouldn't ask you today. You haven't had your show meeting yet, your show prep, but I know it'll be award-winning stuff from 3 to 6 today.
Let's hope so. Excited to be back there. This is weird. It feels like a Monday, but it's a Wednesday.
Tuesday holiday is a terrible
We only got 3 days of work this week, then we're back on a weekend, and then we just get ever so closer to Mountain West Media Days and the story. That's a capital T and a capital S on that, BJ. I'm putting it, of Gloria Nevarez versus the Mountain West, and the storyline that's going to be in Vegas. All these Mountain West fans are going to want to know. She's going to have to talk. She's going to have to answer. She's going to have to address it.
She'll make the rounds. She's going to be one-on-one on Idaho Sports Talk, and we'll have video of it. She'll be on BNN. We'll get to ask her the questions one-on-one.
All right. I wonder what San Diego State is going to say. Is Brady Hoke is just going to say, well, I'm just focusing on the now. I'm not focusing on that. Hey, I'm going to let the administration administrate. Yeah. I'm just here to coach football. Is that what the line we're going to get from Brady?
From him and probably from every other team. I don't think Andy Avalos is going to want to talk about it. I don't think any of the other coaches are going to have much to say about it.
No, they won't.
Right. Dennis
says, going to be athletic directors running around there.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get some ADs to talk.
Fantastic show. Thank you, BJ and Johnny. BNN is the best listen of the day. Well, maybe
every morning.
Second Idaho Sports Talk, we'll say.
In the
We
morning,
appreciate
this
that,
is the
Dennis.
best. This is the morning go-to
There you go.
program for Boise State fans. No question. I
Well,
listen to it. I just Bluetooth in
You
my
do.
car, and I just listen every day on the way in. It's my
John
morning
Mallory
commute.
text about stuff I'm saying on the air. I get the text from Johnny, so I know.
But you guys are always making fun of me, man. It pisses me off, man. Oh, you and Prater have your little Johnny jokes like
It's not
for the
hard,
first
man.
7 minutes.
I got to fill 30 minutes somehow. So,
all right, man. Good stuff.
Appreciate you. We'll be listening today, and big things ahead for BNN. We'll actually make our first of 3 major announcements on Monday.
They're
July
big
10th.
too.
Monday, July 10th is our first announcement, and then Monday, July 17th will be our even biggest announcement. So excited to get down to Vegas, excited to start filling you guys in on some really cool things we're doing at Bronco Nation News. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you go subscribe to the site as well, and then listen today, 3 o'clock, to Johnny and Prater. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. If anything happens, San Diego State, Boise State related, obviously we'll have you covered at BroncoNationNews.com. Otherwise, Prater and I will talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Early congrats to Jay Tuss, by the way. Big day in the Tuss household today, probably. So looking forward to hearing the news on that. Congrats to Jay and Camille.
Yeah.
And big day for the Tuss family. So
Awesome.
That means Johnny might be joining me Friday then because of that. So we'll see if we can
have a July 5th birthday, the
There
day
you go.
after the 4th. Not a bad birthday to have.
And they just had their anniversary on July 2nd, that was one of the best weddings I've ever been to, with Jay taking off in a helicopter.
That was a blast, man. Remember when I had that girl just randomly show up to the wedding?
There's a lot I could say, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But
I needed a ride home. No, she was cool.
Where'd you guys stay that night?
Did we stay at your house? We did. BJ, I'm out of here, man. Love ya.
Talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.